Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Is this thing on? Are we working? Down there, it says it's bouncing. I had some microphone issues. Up there, it says there's 30 people here, 6 likes. Hello, 2 pickles. Hello, Mick the Machine. Evening to you too. Are we on? Welcome back. Thank you, Young King. Is this thing on? Hello, Grey Man. Can you hear me? William Wills. Winters is never late. Not is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. We hear you loud and clear. It's working. Yes, it's on. It's on. It's on. Because, computers, right? And you press the things and they don't do the things. And then sometimes you turn the thing on and it does things to do. I had to get the wife up. Okay. I had the mic, please help me fix this. And then she fixed it. No, I didn't. 2 pickles. I didn't learn to use the computer. No. There's a limit. I can do some things, and then everything else is like witchcraft to me. Evening to you, High Marshal Bugle. Rocking the merch this evening. Winter's SEO t-shirt, Winter's SEO mug. There's 21 of these in the world now. Do you remember when we started the live streams? There was like 3 or 4. 21. That's nearly 2 football teams. It's awesome. So, how is everyone? Hello, Demigorgon. Can you do magic tricks? No, I can't do magic tricks. Hello, me Hugo. Nice to see you. Mick the Machine. Sanguinary Guard is in his house. Moderator extraordinaire. Nice to see you all. Thank you very much. Talking about rocking the merch. Not only is this, but we have this. Members have known that this has been around for a week or so, and they got a very funny video about it. With it comes with the dice bag. There's larger dice bags and smaller dice bags depending on the order, and they're a limited run. When they're gone, they're gone. Only took about 5 months to turn up. And they roll quite well. Guaranteed to roll 6s all of the time, except for those times when they don't. Guaranteed to roll 6s a sixth of the time, 100% of the time. They are very shiny. You're going to see a couple of battle reports. Use my new dice for the first time tonight. Never rolled so many 6s. Thank you, Mick the Machine. I told you, they roll hot. I found they roll a lot of 1s, but they roll a lot of 6s too. 6s are important in this edition for the explosions and the lethals and the criticals and the things like that. When will you try Grimdark Future from one-page rules? Never. Never. Don't lead me astray. I've got enough other things to remember. With the heresy, and there's other stuff down there I'm not allowed to talk about yet. And Warhammer 40k, just getting my head around this edition. Why am I going to try one-page rules? I've tried every edition of Warhammer 40k. I just keep playing Warhammer 40k. You're rocking the hoodie, 2 pickles, as we speak. That's a nice hoodie, isn't it? It's very soft. It's like wearing the inside of a lamb. I have to ask, will we see the Forge in a bat rep on YouTube? Alex Max Games, we will see the Penitent Forge in a bat rep on YouTube at some point. 10th edition, you guys know what I'm talking about here. It's a whole new thing, right? It's a whole new bag. And trying to get your head around it. So I mainly started off playing Necron's Death Guard, and there was another army that I played a lot at the start. Necron's Death Guard and something else. My brain is just fried. But you saw a lot of those go up. And I've just started dabbling into Custodes. That one's appeared for members. I did the 13th once. That's up. That was a good game. And then I think the next one I'm stretching into will be the Orcs. Got to get Murphy's Wow on the channel and give some shouts outs to Den of Imagination Painting Studios, the greatest painting studios in the Soul System, who painted up Murphy's Wow for me. So I've got to get them out. I have to say, in the long list of Grey Knights, I've got to get the Grey Knights on the channel. Nids, that was it. I started off because Nids were on the box, right? Nids, Death Guard, Necrons. Thank you. Game with the purple lads was fantastic. It was lovely, wasn't it? The guys from Live and Let's Dice, they were nice. I have to tell you that of the Grey Knights and the Imperial Knights and the other things that I haven't ran yet, that the one that I'm least looking forward to is the AdMech. And they're my favourite faction when it comes to lore. Love the AdMech. And that's, again, I'm sure many of you know that I was there buying AdMech stuff from Forge World before AdMech was even a thing from Games Workshop. And I love them. But what have they done to my boys? What have they done to my beautiful boys? Yeah, Mr. Consistent is back. Long live and let start. It's good, isn't it? It's nice to have a professional in the room. Jules doing the speeches and things, and like, rah, 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 and he's like, you can tell that he does it for a living. I do it for a living too, but he does it so much better than me, and he's very gentle. Just got back into 40k after 25 years away. Somehow ended up with Space Wolves. Good choice. They're not great in this edition. Because they're saga things. Mind you, I don't know. They are wolfy. I don't know. Space Wolves, though. The thing is, when you play, and if you're getting back, you got to get with the army that you love. And if that's the army that you love, then that's the army that you love. They still have Oath of Moment, though. Yeah, the sagas are very thematic. Oh, Wolfboot Chronicles is in his house. That's Stylus. So me and him played a game, which is in the members thing today. That was very exciting, Stylus. Thanks for coming by. And Stylus and the Hobby Apocalypse boys are coming down this Saturday. So that's Sultan, Monkey, Brapscallion, Stylus, 4-way clash. Did one last year, did one the year before. 4-way clash. Filming that on Saturday behind that wall over there is going to get really sweaty. I think we're going out for beers afterwards. It's going to get really sweaty. It's going to take a long time to film, and it should be hilarious. I'm rather looking forward to the boys turning up. Good evening, Reckless. You have Wolves and Thousand Suns as both of your armies. Good. Both sides of the mirror, both sides of the coin. But yeah, woohoo, Hobby Apocalypse, 4-way play. I don't know when that one's going to go on YouTube, because it will go on YouTube, the free YouTube for everyone. And it might be about 2 weeks after I film it. So if I'm filming it on the 5th, you're probably looking at it coming out on the 20th, maybe the 27th at the latest. Because, you know, I typically try to release battle reports in the order that I film them, typically. But not all the time. It depends what Games Workshop are releasing. It depends what's hot and what's not. So, for example, now the dice have turned up, you're going to see, there's going to be a transition period of a couple of weeks. You're going to see a couple of videos with the new dice in it, and a couple of videos with the old DZ dice in it, until we flow into the videos with all the new dice in it all the time. And if you'd like to buy some dice, then email winters40k@gmail.com and ask my wife, Kat, if there are any dice left. There's a box down there with some dice in, and there's about, I want to say, 80 packs left. Any plans for a new upcoming campaign? No, Demogorgon, not at the moment. No plans for campaign at this time, because I'm getting my head around 10th edition, essentially, trying to just play with the new armies, play with the new factions, working out what's going on, finding out what those combos are. I haven't even played with AdMech yet. Haven't even played with Grey Knights yet. So I'm just looking forward to finding out what this new edition brings. And then once I've got my head around all of that, maybe in 6 months' time, it's going to be a while for a new campaign. But I've got some ideas. I want Brap's Blessed Dice. I know they're good, aren't they? His blue dice are crazy good. Yeah, but the red ones are really good too. Right, I'll stop pimping them. But they are really good. As they said up in the chat, someone said it needs. This chat needs more Dark Angels. Captain Nizil, I have got some Dark Angels. Haven't played with them yet either. Why is Lionel Johnson the ultimate intergalactic gigachad of the Imperium? Is he? Gigachad. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not down with the kids. I know poggers. I can do poggers. Kids say poggers, right? But I'm not down with the kids. Old dice were good. They were. See, campaign. Firstborn Marines. Let's talk about Firstborn Marines. Gigachad isn't an ignorant American saying, is it? Nice. Firstborn Marines. Some of them are moving to Legends. More of them will be moving to Legends as time goes on. And as most of you know, most of the 13th are Firstborn. I have got the 13th Second Company, which is all the new stuff, but most of them are Firstborn. So, you know, what am I doing? What about the 13th? Where will their story arc go? I can keep playing them. I will keep playing them. And I remember the first time when Games Workshop changed all the sculpts and everything got bigger. I remember the old lead Terminators going to plastic. That was very exciting. I remember the old land speeders, the metal land speeders, and the old metal dreadnought going to plastic. That was very exciting. And everything upscaled. I mean, Mordy and John's been on the channel a few times, and his old Mordy and Iron Guard are tiny now compared to the new Cadians. So in the future, the whole range has upscaled once, and the whole range is upscaling again. But in the future, they're going to look very odd, the Firstborn. So what to do with the Firstborn 13th? Do I keep pushing? I've got ideas. I've got thoughts. I've got a whole edition to think it through and play with them and give them a feel. And Kyle Fanoof, thank you for your donation. That's very kind. Winters, can I please write a narrative campaign for you to play with the 13th versus Tyranids? It'll be an invasion of Segmentum Pacificus. Thank you very much for your donation. No. Stylus is in the chat. He'll know how much of a control freak I am when it comes to doing narrative campaigns. Me sitting and brainstorming the Silver Cage with Stylus took a day. Me sitting and brainstorming the Bell Tolls. Is it the Bell Tolls? The one I did with Monkey. That took a day. Just talking through it. So yeah, I do have a Patreon. Become a member instead, tier 3 channel member, and then it unlocks extra videos and my Discord. Patreon just throws money at me. If you want to throw money at me, become a patron. If you really, but if you want to throw money at me and get extra videos and stuff, Winters Wednesdays, then become a tier 3 channel member. But no, I'm a control freak when it comes to campaigns, figuring out what factions. See, it's not just the story of a campaign. Plan what the story this mission is trying to tell and what kind of forces that we're bringing up against each other in this mission, and how will the win or loss from that mission lead to the next mission. And you think about the missions, and each mission is like a chapter in a book trying to tell a deeper story or an overall story, except when it came to that boarding action thing that I did with Sultan at the end of 9th edition. That was more of a higgledy-piggledy thrown together thing. But yeah, I'm quite obsessive when it comes to doing a campaign. I want to make sure every single campaign I try and do, I try and make sure it's the best campaign I've ever done. I try and create something good and unique, and something that I would like to watch if I was a member of the audience, a longer story. So it's, yeah. It's like writing a campaign with Orson Welles, says Stylus, Wolf Boot Chronicles in the cat. Yeah, I need to do another campaign. There will be more campaign. I like doing campaigns, but right now, 10th edition is new, trying to get my head around the whole thing. I'd love to hear the next part of Saga of the Red Frost. Yeah, see, me and Mikey P, we've spoken about Saga of the Red Frost Part 3. We've got ideas, and now a new edition's come around, so it's a case of sitting down with Mikey P at some point, pardon me, and figuring out what each mission is, what story each mission is trying to tell, and what the factions are, and where the setting is, and da-da-da. Can I ask if you have any plans on playing with Say Hi Paul anytime soon? I was due to play with Say Hi Paul last month in July, but he's been having a couple of health issues recently. And also Say Hi Paul is a very busy man in his normal life outside of Warhammer 40k. He's very, very busy doing IT and tech things. So actually nailing him down, you need a nail gun. You need to be able to catch him. You need to boom him. But I highly recommend you go across and check out Say Hi Paul's YouTube channel. Give him a like, give him a sub, show him your love, things like that. So he makes things. Joy Toy could be okay. Bring back the bear as a dreadnought. Yeah, there's lots of things we could do with Saga of Red Frost 3. Tarban the bear was a G, holding the pass. See, when you write a campaign with characters in it and with scenarios in it, what another thing I'm trying to do, as well as just create a mission, like there's the overall thing and then we break it down into chapters and here's the mission. I'm trying to create a scenario in which there is lots of opportunities for heroic stuff to happen. So a good campaign game, from my point of view, when I'm trying to tell a story, is make sure. So if you're like going up a tower, for example, or defending a pass or whatever it is, make sure that the game itself will hopefully lead to opportunities of pure heroism or pure sacrifice or pure we need to get the hell out of here, or those kind of movie tropes that you see in movies and things. Put in those beats in a campaign, but not putting them in there, setting the groundwork so that these beats will happen naturally through the campaign. And you've got to, in each mission, set the groundwork so that there's 4 or 5 possible beats, because if there's 4 or 5 possible beats, then you should hit 1 or 2 of them during a mission. And the whole idea of a campaign, or not the whole idea, but one of the good things that comes out of a campaign is watching certain characters do really well. Like, one of the things I like to make sure in a campaign is there's 4 or 5 or 6 good named characters at the start. And if there's 6 really good named characters at the start, 6 heroes, then you can guarantee that by the end of the campaign, at least one of them has survived or leveled up or done something heroic here, heroic there, and maybe heroic in another mission. So you can see at the very end of the campaign whether this hero lives, the one who's, math. If one is going to die straight away, one is going to but one of them is going to do, or 2 of them are going to reach the very end. And then hopefully at the end, that last hero does something really heroic. And if they fail, then at least you can tell a story of they come so far and got so high, and in the end, nothing ever mattered. And it falls, and it's a tragedy. It's instead of a victory, it's a tragedy. So yeah, lots of things go on when I'm thinking of how to make a campaign work. And the best example of that is one of the first campaigns I did, which was The Death of Hope with Say Hi Paul. That one had a good couple of heroic beats through it. Hello, Alistair Everett. Hello. Clip the link. No, don't click the link. I didn't even get the words right for the Linkin Park thing. Come so far and God, I can't remember it. It's like 30 years ago now, or 20, or something like that. Shall we take a look at what I've been painting recently? So I showed a few people, there's some pictures of the Raven Guard which are coming. Haven't done the base on these yet, because all the bases for the Horus Heresy stuff come from marchofwar.co.uk. Finished off 10 of these today. Just normal Raven Guard guys. And there'll be some people out there saying, where are the Raven Guard shoulder pads on that Raven Guard guy? Well, they're on this one, but they're not on this one, because lore accurate wise, according to the big book that I have down there, the Raven Guard didn't always have their in 40k they always show their colors and things like that, but in 30k sometimes they had no markings whatsoever on their armor, including chapter symbol. And there's pictures in that book as well, and I'm looking down at the Horus Heresy book, Liber Hereticus, of Raven Guard without any chapter marking on whatsoever, because stealthy stuff. So that's what I've been working on. Winter Wizard, hello. Played with Winter Wizard a few times. Need advice from one winter to another. How do I get ice cream stains out of my hat? Also, Saga of the Red Frost was the absolute best. Yeah, if you get ice cream stains in your hat, the best thing to do is fire. Fire will definitely get the ice cream stains out of the hat. Thank you for your donation. Very kind. Appreciate you. Everyone check out Winter Wizard 7 on YouTube. And Candlelighter, thank you for becoming a tier 3 channel member. Say hi when you get in the Discord. People will shout out and ask you questions and things. Don't forget to tell us what your favourite flavour of crisps is. And enjoy all the extra videos. Hey Winters, did you read Leviathan? No. How in the name of all that is good and innocent in the world do you get ice cream in it? Yeah, okay. Orcs versus the 13th, where Say Hi Paul was an awesome battle report. That one's got over 500,000 views now, which is crazy. That one that's as viral as it gets for Warhammer 40k battle reports. Do you think Hank Bunderschnaps, that's a great name, are you German or are you just Bunderschnaps? Because Bunderschnaps could be like an actual German name, but Hank Bunderschnaps sounds maybe American. But I love it. Do you think 10th edition 40k is falling into the hero hammer trap Warhammer Fantasy fell into, where characters trump everything? Do I think it's falling into the hero hammer trap? No, I don't think it's falling into the hero hammer trap given all the games that I've played. In fact, I think the hero hammer is much bigger in games of Horus Heresy, with Primarchs running around and Praetors running around. There's a lot more hero hammer. And seeing as Horus Heresy is based on 7th edition and earlier, then perhaps there was a greater emphasis on hero hammer back in the day. I mean, 10th edition, if you really want to wipe a squad with a HQ attached to it, you can quite easily, well, not quite easily, but you can wipe out whole squads with a thing. No, I don't think it's doing that. I don't think characters trump everything. I think, no, maybe it's different in your meta, but it's not. Winters, your Horus Heresy on the channel is keeping me motivated to paint Emperor's Children. Just bought Lucius 2. Lucius is a G, yo. I've got a Horus Heresy battle report, which I did today. And I think I'm going to put it up on YouTube for free because this Sunday. Because it's one of the best Horus Heresy battle reports I filmed. It's the game is so close. And it's Emperor's Children versus Mechanicum. And I think that one will have to go up for free. It was just an epic game. And I do say so, if I do say so myself, I just flowed into the narrative. Horus Heresy, the game system, allows you to narrate a lot easier because the rules are written from a narrative point of view. So I think that might want to go up for free instead of members. Horus Heresy, as I got into Winters originally, great seeing Mechanicum army on the board. Would love to play against it one day. Well, Rum Diaries, maybe you will. Horus Heresy Mechanicum armies are kind of rare, aren't they? But I love playing with my Mechanicum. That's not German at all, isn't it? Hank Bunderschnaps sounds German to me. Bunderschamps. Bunderschnamps. It sounds German. This is very pleasant. The way you do the ironing. Love you. Thank you. Evening Eternal Crusader. Evening High Marshal Bungle. I've never ever subscribed to a YouTuber, but after months of enjoying your content and particularly looking forward to Sunday, I need that Wednesday goodness in my life. Happy to be here. Thank you, Candlelight. I appreciate you. Yeah, I saw you pop up. You're one of the newer ones in the thing, so I really appreciate any subscribers, any likes. We're up to 34 likes. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit the bell and the notification, all those things. Yeah, I appreciate all my subscribers, everyone who comments, everyone who spreads the love. And particularly love and appreciate all my members. So thank you. This is why I'm here. That last video you did, you talked about changes that you would make to the core game. Any new ideas? Benjamin, I have loads of ideas. Everyone, I mean, I could ask you, what changes would you make to the core game? We're 40k players. One of the things that we will do is talk for days about how many changes we would make to the core game. But I tried to keep it concise, you know. Like, here's a couple of things. Like, OC battle line clearly isn't working as intended, in my experience after playing 20 plus games. You'd think that battle line troops, or you'd think that having a higher OC would naturally steal objectives here, there and everywhere, but it doesn't seem to do that. And we could talk about that in depth if you want to. So I needed to talk about that one. Needed to talk about devastating wounds. Needed to talk about all the special rules that everyone has. Why do servitors on their datasheet have a special rule? Why do grots on their datasheet have a special rule? Why do assault intercessors, tactical marines, scouts, infiltrators, incursors, these are all troops, right? Why do they all have different special rules on their datasheets? Do they all need all that? Does that improve the game? I'm not sure. And Alistair Everett, thank you for gifting a membership. Whoever got that membership, say thanks to Alistair Everett. YouTube caps the gifted member. So what it is if you have got gifted membership, you will get tier 2 membership, which will unlock my Discord. So tier 1 membership gives you the custom badges and the loyalty badges and things like that. Thank you for everyone who's a tier 1 member. Tier 2 unlocks the Discord, and I'll see you in there. Tier 3 for £1 more gets you the Discord and the badges and all the extra videos and things. And I can't make you two do it to tier 3. We've tried. Well, I can't. Neither can my wife, which basically means I don't think it's a thing. Removing initiative from the game killed Hero Hammer for me in 40k. Yeah, so if you want to play a game with initiative in it, play Horus Heresy, because it's there and it's loud and it's proud and it's awesome. Where are we? What happened to the Custodes, Winters? They were on the channel today. For members. What happened to them is it was the first time I played with them, okay? It was the first time. And they're supposed to be really good. And Stylus was here. And Stylus is a horror. He scares me. I don't know where the bodies are. So I thought I'd run them out. We'll see some more Custodes going forward, no doubt. I did go up against Custodes against Sultan. Was it Death Guard versus Custodes? I think that was for members as well. Ben, you're in Swindon, Devisors, and myself in Tepley. Really? I'm in Swindon. Are you in Devisors? You're in Tetbury. Wow. You are in Wiltshire. You are in the back of beyond. Why do Space Wolves have one less attack with every other Marine with chainswords? I know, right? Why do Aspect Warriors... If you have Eldar Aspect Warriors, if you have like the data cards for Eldar Aspect Warriors and you're Spanish, they all have an extra attack than everyone else in the rest of the world. Why do Spanish Aspect Warriors have an extra attack? I don't know. Dave Skurlock, thank you for becoming a tier 3 channel member. Love you, babe. Thank you for helping keep the dream alive. Winters, do you think that they will release new detachments for index armies in the wait for their codex? New detachments for index armies in the wait for the codex? No. I do think that there's going to be new detachments coming in the codex. I don't know. No one's told me anything. This is a guess. But as Black Templars and Space Wolves and Blood Angels and those other Space Marine factions have their own detachments, when the Space Marine Codex drops, which is supposed to be August, I think they said the Tyranid one and the Space Marine one is August. I expect to see new detachments for White Scars, Raven Guards, Crimson Fist, Imperial Fist, things like that. How many detachments they drop in the Tyranid Codex, we'll have to see. I don't think they'll drop any new detachment for the Index thing. I think the Index thing is done, and I think that most of the other codexes are probably already written. At least half of them are. So we're going to see new detachments and stratagems for the new stuff, I think. I think that's what's coming, but not for the Index stuff. I don't like the whole take through of anything apart from special characters rule. It encourages spammy armies. It does encourages spammy armies. It does. It does. You're in Devisors, Lee Russ. Nice. Are you married to your cousin? You think we'll see Space Marines this weekend with Gen Con? Nothing has been announced. No, I don't think we'll see Space Marines this weekend with Gen Con because things would have been announced. Like that, Epic is coming, Legio. What's the game, guys? Chat, help me out. You know, like you've got Titanicus and then you've got the mini rhinos and tanks and things like that. Isn't even released yet, but Games Workshop are splurging all the Epic stuff all over the place. So you know it's coming because Games Workshop splurge it before. So you get a Lee Ross. Huh? No, she was already taken. Nice. Oh dear. I'm sure Games Workshop will release detachments in White Dwarfs. I hope not. I really hope not. Every time they release rules in something that isn't in the main rules or in the indexes or their codexes. Every time they release them in an external source or extra additional source, such as a White Dwarf or an Arks of Omabokara, people leave the hobby. It needs to be, when little Timmy walks into the store, he needs to get his rule book and he needs to get his thing, and that's where it is. And he doesn't want to be turned around and say, oh no, you need this White Dwarf and you need this Psychic Awakening book. And I really hope they don't do that. Imperialis, Legions Imperialis. Yes, so we know that's coming. Epic. Epic was my bag, baby. That came out in 1988, 1990. I want to say 88. Back in the day, I smashed that game hard, man. Loved Epic back in the day. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this one. You don't think they'll get Space Marines this month? End of September, maybe? I'm sure they said in the reveals for 10th that Space Marines and Tyranids were coming in August. But I could have got it wrong. I mean, I say I'm sure. I'm about 60% sure. So I'm more sure than I'm not sure. 1990. Evening Winters, how are you? Very exciting news about SOT. I don't know what SOT is. You'll have to spell it out for me. Literally, 1990. Cool. Speaking of White Dwarf, do you think it's obsolete? Do you buy it? How would you make it useful? Marius, that's a good question. I don't buy it. Do I think it's obsolete? Print media, print, the whole print thing with the internet. Are kids buying White Dwarf? Like back in the day when I was a young'un, there was no internets. I remember the microwave being invented and VHS and Betamax being invented. I remember when fire was invented and we first left the cave. It was a long, dark time, hunting the caribou, slaying them, ripping them apart, blood for the blood god, all that sort of stuff. I don't know. Print media in this day and age, is it obsolete? It feels like it's obsolete. I wouldn't... Well, if they're making money, they'll keep printing them. If they're not making money on the dwarves, then they'll stop printing them, right? I'd love a re-release of Space Hulk, says Demogorgon, and I'm 100% with you, Demogorgon. I can't wait. They've got to re-release Space Hulk. I will play the crap out of that game and film the crap out of that game for you guys as well. I'd love to. It would be great if they release Space Hulk and instead of just the flat tiles, you know, they do like buildings now. Wouldn't it be epic if Space Hulk released and inside the box with Space Hulk, instead of just flat tiles, they actually had like the mini buildings they do, they actually had like corridor tiles, and you could put it down like a proper corridor with vents, with the gene steel. It would look so cool if Games Workshop did that. Even if Games Workshop re-released it and it didn't come with all the corridor tiles and stuff like that, I bet there's some third-party person out there that would smash that out of the park, and I'll happily take a pack of that off you and promote the crap out of it just to play. It would look so cool. Yeah, I think Space Hulk is way overdue a comeback, and I hear a lot of people. I mean, are we happy for Space Hulk? Space Hulk for the win. They missed a trick. Yeah. Space Hulk with all the boarding. Yeah. Boarding action. Space Hulk. Yeah, they missed a trick. They did boarding actions, and yeah, Space Hulk, just classic Space Hulk. They don't have to overdo it at the start. Let's have some Gene Stealers and let's have some Terminators. Space Hulk. And also in the pipeline, they could have 6 months after that comes out, they could have expanded Space Hulk with some new corridor bits, and adding on to the Gene Stealers, they could have a Patriarch, and they could have some cultists or some Gene Stealer cultists, and adding on to the Space Marines, then you could put in a couple of tactical Marines in there, and then they could do so much with that game. So much for that game. Space Hulk would be great in 3D. It would, Ben. Objectives, yeah, it would be cool. You just bought the 2014 edition about 5 months ago. It is, I mean, again, I remember first edition Space Hulk, smashed the crap out of that game as well. Epic. I think it's been 4 editions of it. I think I got the first one and the third one. I think. I know I skipped, there might have been 6 editions, but I remember getting the first one and then skipping an edition or 2 and then getting one. And I would still, yeah. Shame the video game was poppy. I do remember the first Space Hulk top-down video game on a PC where they would go and it was almost like a game of pipes stopping the stuff pouring in, and it's the first time I ever played a Warhammer 40k video game. We're talking like 90s here, and I remember thinking that was epic. You bought Space Hulk, Willard, when it first came out, and you still haven't played it. Damn, son, put that up on eBay. You'll make a crack of money from it if you haven't paid it. Ascension is my favourite Space Hulk video game, is it? Vengeance of the Blood Angels was amazing. The board game with Titus made me think of Space Hulk. I wish they have done a new edition of Space Hulk instead of that. Would you create custom missions at some point? I've done many custom missions. No, I've done many. There's some videos like Murder Ball, and I've done on the channel many custom missions, and in the Discord I put some custom missions in there, and in all the campaigns they're all custom missions. I do at the moment with the launch of 10th, no custom missions, but I've done many custom missions, and in the future we'll do many custom missions. That's the thing about Warhammer 40k. It's your game. It's your toy soldiers. It's your collection. Play with them however you want to play with them in your gaming group. And if you're not liking the Leviathan deck, or if you're not liking, I mean, when you first start the game anyway, and you're teaching someone new to the game, don't you just put an army on one side and they put an army on one side? You just try and kill each other. Isn't that what we all did? Isn't that what we all do now? And then you upscale from that. Here's an army here, here's an army there, kill each other, and I'll give you D6 extra points if you manage to kill the warlord, but don't roll for it until the end of the game, because that can that very last dice roll, that sweet last dice roll, like bam, I got a 5, I got a 1, I win, that sort of thing. Yeah, custom missions is something that I have done and will continue. What is Blackstone Fortress like? I don't know, never played it. I heard that it's awesome. Rigged for your pleasure. Any thoughts on Templars being penalised for using an impulsor despite this coming in their combat patrol? Using grav vehicle stops you using their special rule madness. No. Using what? I have no idea what you're talking about. Their special rules are their vowels, right? Like lethal hits or exploding hits or da-da-da. Surely lethal hits and exploding hits is still a thing. Will new mid models be released alongside the codex? Again, I know nothing, but the answer to that question is certainly yes. Ultramarines battle report soon. No, I haven't played Ultramarines for a while. I don't own Ultramarines, and I haven't played against Ultramarines for about a year now, maybe longer. Dr. Feels good. I remember people's reactions to Necron's reanimating protocols. Massive backlash, and now they've been even more terrifying on the board with the right list. They want more voted. Necrons, yes, the best Necron list is lots of warriors. Necrons are now disgustingly resilient. Are they? I think Necrons are decidedly mid. They're decidedly mid. But there are some ways to run them that make them really strong. And I know that there was an event or a tournament or a GT recently where they won. But I know the people who was, like Richard Siegler was running them. So you're talking about named people. Necrons did really well in a couple of events recently. But overall, when taken out of the hands of immortals and put into the hands of mere mortals, they're coming mid to upper mid tier when it comes to the meta watch stuff. Maybe what some of these OGs have done is push that up a bit, but we'll see what the meta watch rankings are in a week's time or a couple of weeks time or a month's time or something like that. But I definitely feel it when I'm running Necrons against a stronger force, like the one on Sunday against Live and Let's Dice, 3 Dreadnoughts and Space Marines. And mind you, that wasn't a really strong list that I brought. It was just destroyers everywhere. But I'm just trying some things out. But there's definitely tougher stuff out there than Necrons for us mere mortals, generally speaking. I mean, Richard Siegler took Tau when they were bad in 9th edition before they got their new codex to the, was it SoCal tournament, and won We're talking about people that can do things that us mere mortals can't. Yeah. Looking forward to Thousand Suns being on the channel Stylus. The Thousand Suns battle report came out today for members. What units would you add to the god-specific chaos factions? That's a big question. What units would you add to the god-specific chaos factions? God-specific, well, okay, I can answer that straight away. So, when the Death Guard dropped, there was a couple of Death Guard vehicles in there, Mephitic Blight Hauler, drones, and crawlers and tanks and things. There were a couple of Nurgle-specific vehicles that we got with the Death Guard release, which skipped the Thousand Suns release. All they have is the Mutalith Vortex Beast. And when you look at the World Eaters as well, there's no Khorne-specific demon engines in there. And there are some, or there were some in Forge World before all that stuff got shelved. It would be quite easy for Thousand Suns and the World Eaters for them to make a couple of sculpts for each faction. So they made 2 sculpts for the Thousand Suns faction, and that they were Zinchi engine type stuff, or 2 sculpts for the World Eaters faction, and one of them was an engine that could be really shooty or really punchy, and it did 2 versions of, and then therefore you've got this Khorne eaty thing and the Khorne shooty thing, and it's 2 different units from essentially one sculpt with a different sprue, and do that again with another one, and then boom, then they've got 4 new units with essentially 2 sets of sprues or 2 sets of boxes there. And Khorne with guns is a thing. The World Eaters in the lore and the World Eaters in 30k really like big guns, long range guns, mid range guns, speeders, attack bikes, things like that. They don't like anything mid range, because once they get that close, the bloodlust is up. But in all the lore that you read, and in even Devastators, and in their new codex, they have Predators, they have Land Raiders, they have Forge Fiends. In the lore, World Eaters like really big, powerful guns. Khorne cares not, so long as the blood is flowing, that they can smash apart the enemy army from a very, very long way away, open up the tin cans to get to the soft meat, so when they go charging in, they can rip everyone apart. And there is a very good lore reason and a very good army reason for World Eaters to have some couple of big Khornate demon engines at the backfield with spikes, skulls hanging off all of them, missile racks over their shoulder, big gaping maws, shooting loads of shit at the opposing army. And you could do that with Tzeentch as well, because Death Guard got those kind of vehicles, but Khorne and Thousand Suns didn't. And then the last thing I would definitely add to the World Eaters as well is we have the Juggerlord, the guy on the thing, he's around here somewhere, the Juggerlord guy, the Lord Invocatus, Lord Invocaca. What was he? The guy with the thing, and you could paint him black, or you could paint him, and he's just a Juggerlord on his own. There needs to be a whole fast attack thing. Why is he the only guy? We need to get, so I strongly suspect in World Eaters 2.0, when that codex drops for 9th edition, that he was a herald of the apocalypse, and we will get a new unit type, which is Juggerlords, not Juggerlords, Juggercorns, Corns on Juggers, Juggercorns, charging across with axe. I think we're going to see that. That's what I would add, because it's relatively easy to. You'll sell a lot of them. It will look cool, and you'll sell a lot of them. Yeah, we need more games with James March of War. Thank you. The EC versus World Eaters big game is one of my favourite games in a very long time. Thank you. James, March of War is an absolute... He's a G. Love that guy. He's coming down, I'm looking at my calendar, 7th of September, and we'll be doing another Horus Heresy one. That's the 7th of September. And of course, on the 1st of October, March of Winters, my first event. My first event since I flew solo. And sold out now, so I'm looking forward to, if anyone's in the chat or anyone in the comment section, looking forward to seeing you there. And if you aren't coming to the March of Winters event at Element Games in Manchester, do come up and say hi. Don't be shy, come up and say hi, get a selfie, only £100 per selfie. Biggest miss with 10th edition, in my humble opinion, is that they haven't removed mold lines from the models, continue scraping. Dave Skurlock, I've found that the new sculpts, however, are pretty damn good. Like these guys, to stick together, most of the mold lines are hidden. Abaddon, I didn't need to scrape much off of him at all. What was I building the other day? It's much improved. So you're right. They're never going to get rid of our mold lines 100%, but you can see how the computer-aided design stuff, they're deliberately trying to put the mold lines like along the edge so it blurs into the thing. I think they're doing a much better job. Do you have any plans to do a new army just for 10th edition? Not at this time, but newsflash. I am one night away, Chaos Knight away, from fielding a 2,000 point Chaos Knight army. So, and all my Chaos Knights were painted by Den of Imagination, so I need them to paint one more night. But they've got a long list of stuff they're doing for me. But once that night turns up, then yes, technically, there will be a whole new army, and it'll be Chaos Demons, Chaos Knights. And also, I did have a 2,000 point Dark Angels list that I took to some tournament a while back. I may have won it, but I don't like to talk about it. Got to be humble. And that 2,000 point list now is about 1,375 points with the points changes. So can't field it. So what I'd like to do in 10th edition is add more Dark Angels painted in the Den of Imagination color scheme and expand my Dark Angels range, because one, they look really cool. I love the color scheme. And two, I haven't got any Gravis anywhere. And I'm hoping jet bikes. I mean, if they can release this for Heresy, surely they can release jet bikes for 10th edition, particularly for White Scars and Raven Guard. I got like 1,400 points, or just under 1,400 points of Deathwing. It'd be great if I could get like 1,500 points worth of Ravenwing. That'd be epic. And then add a chunk of Gravis to it. And then by the end of 10th edition, have a chunk of Dark Angels, like a good 4,000 points of that. What I'm personally working on right now, I keep holding up to the camera, is the Raven Guard. I've got 5,000 points of painted Emperor's Children right now. And making my way through the Raven Guard. So the new, and then Death Guard is coming from Den of Imagination for Horus Heresy. Another 2,000 points of Sons of Horus for Horus Heresy. So by the end of the year, I should have another 3 armies. They're all going to be Horus Heresy armies though. But yeah, after that's done, the plan is, or the goal is, it's not a plan, it's not a goal. Because if I plan it, so you shouldn't have plans. Well, you can have plans, but I shouldn't have plans. The aim is to add to the Dark Angels force. Yeah, that's the aim in 10th edition at this time. But Dark Mechanicum is bound to be... They've released Vashtor. Vashtor's out there. So that means Dark Mech is coming. And Emperor's Children, they've said Emperor's Children is coming. And I've got Emperor's Children 30k, so I'd really want Emperor's Children 40k. So many things. It all depends on what Games Workshop release. And then we've got this Legio Imperialis thing coming. That's I'm excited for things. I'm excited for things. Knights. Such a meta chaser. Yeah, man. I've got about 5,000 points of Imperial Knights. And yeah, like I say, if I add 5,000 points of Imperial Knights, just add 1 Chaos Knight. And then I can chase the meta with Chaos Knights. The other thing about, the Alliance system for Chaos is helpful, helps with the limited monogod rosters. Yeah, like the Ally system, this is the thing. You can add a Knight, a Chaos Knight, to any Chaos force, and you can add an Imperial Knight to any Imperial force. And now 10th edition has blown the lid off things, and it's all new, and we're all figuring out where the ground is. I think I'm going to be fielding a couple of forces. Like, I can see myself fielding a couple of times my Death Guard with a Knight in it. And I can see myself fielding a couple of times the 13th with a Knight in it. Or even Custodes with a Knight in it. I want to try that out in 10th edition as well. Just chuck a Knight in here or chuck a Knight in there. I'm not saying next week. I'm saying like in a couple of months' time, you might see a battle report with the Death Guard and there's a big green Knight. Or a couple of months' time, you might see here's the 13th and there's a big... You can just add them in there. I do like the way demons work as well. So I'm a Death Guard player. And we all know, right, that if you're a Death Guard, Thousand Suns, World Eaters, or Chaos Space Marine player, then there's another codex out there for you that you can just tag in 25% of, and that's Chaos Demons. You can add 25% of Chaos Demons to any of those factions without it affecting any of the faction stuff. So, I mean, that's a really good rule that they brought out at the end of 9th, and it's carried into 10th. So I really need to have a look at the Chaos Demons as well. And about 1,500 points worth of Chaos Demons, so I can put in Scabathrax and a few other, or I can add in a bunch. Look at that codex and get some Nurgle stuff that can add to the Death Guard would be epic, because 25% of that you can tag in. In fact, I could run a Death Guard list, add 25% of Chaos Demons to that, that's perfectly legit, and add a Chaos Knight to that as well, and that's perfectly legit. And in the end, you'll end up with about 1,100 points worth of Death Guard with the Knight and with the Chaos Demons, and that's a perfectly legit faction. And it would look cool, the Death Guard walking up behind, chonking along, holding onto objectives, one Knight storming up the middle like a missile, and demons teleporting in around all over the place. That would look cool AF. And yeah, I need to keep reminding myself that as a Chaos player, because I'm a Chaos player now, that there's another codex out there, and it's called Chaos Demons. And it's part of my codex. It's part of the Death Guard codex. You can just tag it in there. What army are you picking up for the new Epic game? Don't know. Definitely need to have a good look at that new Epic game. If I do the new Epic game, off the top of my head, not just because I'll probably paint them Raven Guard because it's really quick, or Iron Hands, maybe Iron Hands. Particularly when you're painting little teeny tiny little cheers mug, little teeny tiny little bits of black. Spray them black, put bits of metal on here or there, none all the crap out of it. Highlight a few things, done. Put them on really nice bases from marchofwar.co.uk or from Den of Imagination, and they'll look cool. I think that's probably what I do. Whatever's easiest, because I'm motivated to get it done as quickly as possible and get it out so you guys can see it as quickly as possible. Like if I spend 6 months painting a Legio Imperialis army, and then it comes out in February next year, I think I'll miss the buzz. I think I'll miss the rush. If I'm going to do it, I'll do it. Fortunately, I'm an obsessive mofo, and when I get on something, I really get on it. So I'm sure hoping Dark Mech is coming. Dark Mech, it's coming. It's coming. I don't know anything. They haven't told me, but it's coming. It's got to be coming. With Vashtor, it's got to be coming. Anyway, I did the same. I bought Chaos Space Marines and became a Chaos player. Yeah, man. Yeah. I became a Chaos player with... What was the edition where the Death Guard came out? That was 8th edition. So I became a Chaos player in 8th edition. Mind you, before 8th edition, when I started the channel, there was only... When I started the channel, there was only the 13th. And then I added Mechanicum when they started coming out. So before 8th edition, it was just the 13th and the Mechanicum. Mechanicum? Adeptus Mechanicus. Yeah. And then 8th. And then playing good guys all the time. I needed some bad guys because people kept... I kept playing against people, and it was Imperium on Imperium. So like, I need some bad guys. I need something for you to face. And... which is a bad guy. And then 8th dropped with the Death Guard in it. So it's like, right, I'm a Chaos player now. Let's get them painted up. Unfortunately, I really like playing Death Guard because they are disgusting and resilient. They were disgusting and resilient. Why did they take disgusting and resilient away? And it's this crappy contagions thing. When they started, they were disgusting and resilient. 5 up for no pain. When they went to 9th edition, they were still disgusting and resilient, -1 damage, and contagions. And now they've gone to 10th edition, and the thing that they've had since the very start, the disgustingly resilient bit, they got rid of. And the bit they only picked up yesterday, the contagion stuff, they kept. Get rid of the contagion stuff, put the disgusting resilient back in. I'm not asking for much. It doesn't need to be a 5-up feel no pain. It doesn't need to be a army wide -1 damage. But what's wrong with just a 6-up feel no pain for the army? That's not entirely broken, but at least they'll feel disgusting and resilient, because 1 in 6 rolls, you're going to roll that 6 and your guy will live. There'll be those occasions where Mortarion or the tank or the thing, it's like, damn it, I've got to make 6 of these and I've got to make 6 saves, 6 disgustingly resilient saves, and if one of them rolls a 6, I'll be fine. I'll be hanging in there with 1 wound left, and you roll your 6 dice and you roll that 6 and you're like, yes. And it hangs in there with 1 dice, and it'll give you that resilience that I feel that they're lacking right now. And with movement 4 on the Terminators, what's that all about? So yeah, disgustingly resilient. They need to... yeah. It's like they sold enough Death Guard, and they're like, screw those guys. We've sold enough of them. We don't need any more Death Guard players out there. Same with Necrons as well. It's like, screw those guys. We did them in 9th. Let's move on to Tyranids. Tyranid players out there and people jumping on the Tyranid bandwagon, you do realise that in 8th edition, Tyranids are going to be shit. Disgustingly resilient was chaotic bliss. That rule was perfect. A bit strong, but it was it was a bit strong, but it was chaotic bliss. They didn't take disgustingly resilient away. They just went to 1,000 Suns. I know, right? 1,000 Suns get essentially disgustingly resilient now. What is that all about? I know there's a disgustingly resilient strat. They can use it, but I think it's 2 CP and I think it's only in the fight phase. And it's just meh. 6+ are good if you want to have fluff without destroying balance. Exactly. You can incorporate that into the points cost quite easily. A 6-up feel no pain. Iron Hands always had a 6-up feel no pain. Wasn't the... Oh no, I remember feel no pain. The feel no pain rule was invented for Blood Angels. That was 2nd edition. No, 3rd edition. And then it spread across to Iron Hands. Blood Angels, like the Death Company, got a 5-up feel no pain. And that was the first time we saw the rule. It's like, whoa, what's this new rule? Another save on top of your save? Wow, this is amazing. And then it spread to Iron Hands. And then it spread to everyone. But it was only a 6-up feel no pain for Iron Hands, which is very disgusting and resilient. They're annoying to fight against. I know. Death Guard are annoying to fight against. But not as annoying as Eldar. Aren't Necrons doing just fine? Necrons are doing really well at the top end with genius players. In the middle, according to all the stats and things, they're in the middle-ish. Upper middle, but they're doing in the middle. And also the Necrons only really certain kind of builds. Like you basically need 3 Doomsday Arcs and at least 40 Warriors. If you got them, good. If you haven't got them, then the bump. So... Feel no pain rule was invented for Winter's Dice. I do like finding... See, in every edition, there's 3 types, 3 main ways to place, 3 main... There are rock lists. There are lists that can just take it. There are highly aggressive lists, your World Eaters, your full-on assault lists. And a highly aggressive list as well can be a highly aggressive shooty list. But hyper-aggressive lists, hyper-resilient lists, or hyper-tricksy lists, finesse lists. And the game, regardless of whether it's Heresy, or regardless of whether it's 40k, and regardless of whatever edition it is, those are the 3 big circles. There's, I can imagine a diagram. Here's the big circle of resilience. Here's the big circle of hyper-aggressive. Here's the big circle, and there's the overlaps and the Venn diagrams or whatever the math term is. There's overlaps there. And different players gravitate towards different play styles, different type of lists once they're in the game for a period of time. And I like resilience. I don't like picking my miniatures up. I like something with disgustingly resilient. I like something with transhuman. I like something with an invulnerable save. I like high toughness. I just don't like losing miniatures very much. I give them names. I know what they had for lunch. Dear. Winters and Glacial Deek are reciprocals. Winters converts quite often on rerolls. Glacial Deek Geek rerolls ones into ones. I love Glacial Geek. I met him at the No Retreat Legends tournament. He was a lovely guy. This is the thing. I met Glacial Geek at the No Retreat Legends tournament, and obviously Glacial Geek famous for Dark Angels, and he rocked up with his Dark Angels list, and I was like, Mr. Geek, I know you. I've seen you on the interwebs. What Dark Angels have you brought? Because you'll never believe what I've brought. I've brought Dark Angels. And he said, wow, you brought Dark Angels? What have you done? And I said, a transhuman Deathwing list. And he went, oh, I really tried the transhuman Deathwing list and it wasn't working out for me. So I've got a tri-wing list. And he had Ravenwing, Deathwing and Greenwing. And I was like, why wasn't it working out for you? And we had some beers and we had a full-on conversation about the merits of Deathwing versus Ravenwing versus Greenwing and what was working for him and what wasn't working for him. And absolutely lovely guy. Now, I can't remember how or why the Deathwing list wasn't working out for him. But yeah, he is the Dark Angels guy and he couldn't get them to sing. And I ended up walking away with the I don't want to, I got to be humble, but no one had won a major tournament with Deathwing before or after. There were many attempts in the tournament scene to try and match my greatness. Okay, but no one did. No one did before, no one did after, and even Mr. Glacial Geek with his, he couldn't either. But Glacial Geek YouTube channel, please check him out. Really nice guy. I got to play him in the tournament actually. I played him in the third game. Or was it the second game? It was the second game. I played him in the second game. Dark Angels versus Dark Angels. We called it laser tag. It was a training exercise, and every time a model got hit and wounded and fell over, it was like their armor locked up. Zzz, clunk. And they just fell over and then went back to the canteen for tea and biscuits and things like that. So yeah, I played him in the second game. Very nice guy. Kicked his ass, obviously, being the master and all that. But Stranger Come Knocking Hobbies. Lovely to see Stylus on the bat rep today. Great game. Thank you, Stranger Come Knocking Hobbies. Stranger Come Knocking Hobbies, I hope that you've recovered from your green stuff poisoning. This is a public safety announcement. I know a guy, Stranger Come Knocking Hobbies, who ended up in hospital through green stuff poisoning. Do not put any green stuff. He was eating it by the bucket load, doing all of his conversions with his things and spreading it on toast and yeah, that shit will poison you. So don't put any paints and things in your face because you will die. But I'm glad to see that you're still alive and still knocking about, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the battle report today. Necrons are where most factions should be aiming for. They're good, but not overly powerful, with a couple of exceptions throughout. Yeah, Demogorgon, you're absolutely right. Essentially, you want a win-loss ratio somewhere between 45% and 55%. If you think a balanced game is that's where you want most factions to be, around there. Yeah. Liam T, how excited is Sultan Plays to have access to another game where he can paint Space Marines with Legion? Don't know what you're talking about. Do you mean Legion Imperialis? I don't know. Yeah. Sultan doesn't need any help to paint any more Space Marines. You should check out he's up to 1,500 points worth of Crimson Fist. Where did he post the picture of his new Crimson Fist project? Actually, I think it was in my Discord. It might be... Oh, right, okay. Legion Imperialis, that's what you're talking about. It might be on his Instagram. Check out Sultan Plays on Instagram. He does a lot of pictures on there. And on Saturday, he's going to be playing with 1,500 points worth of White Scars in the Hobby Apocalypse 4-Way Spectacular. So, yeah. Yeah, I think Necrons are about where they need to be. Death Guard are obviously a little bit weak. Votann are obviously a little bit weak. Eldar should be destroyed and all turn to Ynnari. If all the Eldar craft welders turn to Ynnari, I'll be fine. I'll be fine with them. Just, yeah. I enjoyed painting a Space Marine 5-man kill team in 8th edition, and then 10th it weirdly turned into a 9,000 points of Raven Guard. Yeah, man, that's what happens. Just a kill team. You start off with just a kill team or just a combat patrol. And before you know it, there was a thing in my old Discord, hashtag just a kill team was a meme. And it was a true meme. Hashtag just a kill team. How is Combat Patrol as a game mode working for you so far? I don't know, Darnock. I haven't played Combat Patrol. I've got thousands of points out there. Zulus, thousands of them. I'm not going to play Combat Patrol. Jasper, XOR, ha. I guess since I plugged Glacial Geek, I should plug the friend that turned me in onto Winter's SEO. One Last Blade, the dedicated Grey Knights channel. Check out One Last Blade on YouTube. Yeah, you could hit me up for as many plugs as you need. Seriously, hit me up for as many plugs as you need. I'm happy to plug the crap out of stuff. Had a great time filming and playing with Live and Let's Dice last weekend. You guys have seen the battle report. Very good guys. Anything I can do to help promote the hobby and everyone in the hobby to make this hobby space as strong and as vibrant as it could be, like a tall, big shaft growing out of the furry forest. We want a big shaft. Have you listened to Amber King videos? Yes. Is massive shout out to Sultan who's painting my Deathwing Terminators, doing a fab job. Is he? He's painting your Deathwing Terminators. Nice, man. Whenever you feel salty about Eldar, remember they're a dying race. I know they're a dying race. Can't they be dead already? It's been, see, the Eye of Terror, that was them, right? And the whole Great Rift getting ripped in half all across the galaxy you got this, the Eye of Terror was the Genesis and the 13th Crusades, and then he ripped it. So it's all the Eldar's fault. It's all their fault. And they're so arrogant. You know, they're walking around thinking they're better than you. They remind me of it brings to mind like Downton Abbey. My wife, she's mad for Downton Abbey right now. Okay, and you've got the upstairs, downstairs, and Downton Abbey. And I know there's a lot of geeks in this channel, and they won't have any idea what I'm talking about. But it's basically the Eldar. They loom over everyone, telling them brush your teeth and make sure you sit down at the no elbows on the table. Make sure you chew with your mouth closed. All that sort of stuff. And we don't need to listen to them. They're not my parents. I can do what I want. I can stick my elbows on the table if I want to and throw food against the wall. Aren't Exodites coming out at some point? I hope so. I really hope so. Space Eldar on dragons. Dinosaurs in 40. I mean, they would make bank, yo. They would make bank. You've not seen Sultan's video? Demogorgon, thanks for asking. I haven't seen Sultan's video, no. I don't watch any of his crap, and he doesn't watch any of my crap. We have this deal. He doesn't watch my shit. I don't watch his shit. This is what we have, a deal. That way it's always surprising when people talk about it, or he shows me the things like, look at my thing, watch my video, and I go, no. And I say, did you watch the video last week when this happened and this happened? And he goes, no. We get enough of each other. I'm playing squash with him tomorrow. That's going to be a very bad idea. Oh dear. Going to build a Dyson sphere around Craft Worlds and make the elder pay for it. I love it. Harlequins are all right because I've got no problem with Harlequins. I've got no problem with the Dark Kin. The Dark Kin, they're evil and they love it. They're perhaps the most evil race in Warhammer 40k, because you can't exactly say the Tyranids or the Orcs are evil. They're more like a force of nature, a tsunami, a forest fire. But the Dark Kin, they're very evil. The Dark Kin make Hellblazer blush. You need a good bad guy. Stranger Come Knockies, I'm good, dude. Got Alex's Master of Executions on the table finally. Is he still a thing in 8th, 10th? He is. I thought you'd forgot about that entirely. If you are doing the Master of Executions for me, you're an absolute G. I really appreciate it. Yes, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing what he looks like and putting pictures up all over the place and things like that. Hopefully you'll come into the March of Winters event on the 1st of October at Element Games in Manchester, and then I can get it off you then. Where are we? Do you think there are any good Tyranid horde lists with Hormagaunts, Termagants and Gene Stealers nowadays? Not with Gene Stealers, no. Not as a horde list, because they can only come in squads of up to 10. They used to come in squads of up to 20, so by definition you can't really do a horde list with them. Are there any good Tyranid horde? So if you're going to do a Tyrannic horde list, then yes, you could easily poop 90 Termagants on the table. I mean, you can do 180 Termagants because they're battle line. 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. But I'd probably start off with about 90 and a big mama nearby with, what's the one? The 5-up feel no pain, which becomes a 4-up feel no pain, symbiotic bild. The one that gives her a feel no pain. Stamp nearby, boom. And even then, you don't need her nearby because for 1 CP, you can pick 2 horde termagant units that are, and they don't even have to be close to each other, and put D3 plus 3 into that one and D3 plus 3 into that one. But yeah, if you could imagine 90 little bugs in front of you as a barrier to something with a big mama to heal them back in, then if you're doing horde, see, this is why I say termagants rather than hormagaunts, because hormagaunts want to go flying off there to attack stuff and go grrr and all that sort of stuff. But if you're doing horde properly, you're not properly, but if you're doing horde, whenever you play horde in whatever edition, horde is more about, horde armies tend not to kill very much. The thing about a horde army is they're harder to remove. Horde, that's why you bring a horde. So there are some horde builds, like in 8th edition, the Plague Bearers horde lists from Australia and stuff like that, which were pretty killy as well. But typically, whatever edition you're playing, horde lists tend to just be, here's loads of bodies, kill 180 of them, and you can't. Horde lists therefore move forward, swarm the board, and score as they go on primaries and secondaries, and then you need stuff that can pop up or fly over and do behind. So you need to make it as resilient as possible and use them as much of a screen as possible rather than sending. If you've got like 90 horde and you send them across the table, then they're going to die to flamers, and they're going to die on Overwatch, and they're going to die on they're not blocking, they're not creating board control. The other thing you can do with a horde is you can block out huge areas of the board, so deep strikers and movement and things like that won't be able to get in. There's definitely viable horde lists out there, I think. I see more. Yes is the answer. I'm running Master of Executions with 10 Berserkers in my World Eaters tonight. Nice. Hi, Monkey. Welcome to the chat. Your brother was in here earlier. The Wolfboot Chronicles Stylus. He was here earlier. And he was surprisingly gentle. Any great Warhammer events in April? In April? What, like next year? Does anyone know if there's any great Warhammer events in April next year? Stuart Fields is coming to the UK for a month from New Zealand. Damn. Well, if you've never been to Warhammer World, you've got to get to Warhammer World and check on the Warhammer World website. Closer to the date, no doubt. There will be events at Warhammer World in April, and I would go there. That's where I would go. Hey, Jim. Yeah, a serious question. I'm an idiot. Me too. That doesn't understand the game at all. What's the best way to start learning it? So the rules are free online. Go to Warhammer Community or type in Warhammer 40k 10th edition rules and you can get the rules. And you can read them and you can learn them. And the core rules aren't that tricky to learn. Read them. Get yourself a combat patrol. Get a friend who's got a combat patrol. And the combat patrol boxes are largely balanced against each other. And with the core rules in your hand and with the combat patrols, you can start playing games where you just throw miniatures at each other and try and kill each other. The best way to learn the game is to play the game. The second best way to learn how to play the game is watch Winter's SEO YouTube battle reports and then learn that way. But yeah, the best way to learn anything is learn by doing, right? When you learn to play the piano, you're playing the piano. When you learn to shoot someone at 1,000 meters distance, then you're picking off targets at 1,000 meters difference. There's something like that. When you're learning how to virus bomb a planet, you've got to get in your ship, you've got to fuel it up, you've got to make sure there's enough packed lunch for everyone, you've got to fly to the next system, virus bomb the planet, make sure you don't miss and hit the moon, things like that. The best way to learn is by doing. What do you think of the new NID reveals? New Norn HQ looks amazing. Demogorgon, agree with you. I painted one of the Leviathan minis. I was waiting for the new Nib book to come. And when the new Nib books come, the Norn Queen looks good. What else? There was something else in there that I really liked. I liked the guy with the cloak, the new Death Leaper model. He looked epic. And there was something else that really twisted my nipple. Yeah, the new Nid reveals look lovely. When's WAB? WAB is in May, yes. Favorite and least favorite thing in 10th edition so far. Favorite thing in 10th edition so far. That's a hard question. Favorite thing in 10th edition so far. My favorite thing. My favorite thing about 10th edition so far is it's just easier. It's just simpler to play. And I can smash out 2 games in an evening. There was one time when Sultan came round, and I think we did Knights on Knights. Sultan came around, yeah, and we did 3 games in an evening. So it's just simpler and easier to play. More accessible with all the rules and all the things right in front of you. You don't need a PhD to understand how to run Adeptus Mechanicus. Yes, it's more accessible, and that's the best thing about it. Least favorite thing about 10th edition is Craftworld Eldar are still alive, and really they should be dead by now. Looking forward to March of Winters. Thank you, Moodle Doodle. I'll see you there. If you come to March of Winters, make sure you come up to me, say hi. Selfies, only £500. There was this one time at band camp when Sultan came round. I know, right? Like I say, I'm playing squash with him tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to get sweaty. I've got to get out of the house every now. I don't get out very much. I went for a walk yesterday. It was horrifying. If you lived in Swindon and you went for a walk in Swindon, you'll know what I'm talking about. Honestly, it's terrible out there. It's like The Walking Dead. Yes, so very much enjoying 10th edition Warhammer 40k right now. I've talked about all the stuff that I'm painting on. I've nailed that. I talked about the 13th and ideas for the 13th. It's all very open at the moment where they're going. But I think I'm going to start moving the narrative of the 13th forward as we make our way through 10th edition, particularly with the death of firstborn Marines. Star Trek or Star Wars? Be honest. Well, both. I'm not a fan of any of the newer iterations of both of those franchises, though I did see Star Trek Season 3 Picard, which I thought was excellent. But both. Big fan of both. I'm a geek. Love them all. I am old. I don't know how old you are, Captain Ennizzle, but I am old enough to remember being in the cinema when I am your father. I saw that. No! I saw that. And, yeah. It was, yeah. Empire Strikes Back was my generation's snap in Infinity Ward. So that left a lasting impression. And, yeah, I'm old enough to remember going to the cinema to see Star Trek, the first movie, which was bad. I mean, there's every odd numbered Star Trek movie is bad. Every even numbered Star Trek movie is good. I mean, again, Wrath of Khan, excellent. Spock dying, spoilers. It is 40 years ago now. But yeah, epic stuff, man. What do you think of the new Dark Mechanicus army on TT? Haven't seen it. I know they've got I haven't seen it. March of Winters is sold out. I think 2 tickets became available today. I think you need to go to the March of Winters website and click on the event drop down. I mean, those 2 tickets may have gone. Did they have someone playing an organ in a monkey? Did they have someone playing an organ and an interlude in talking pit? Yeah, in the talking pit. No, they didn't have someone playing in an organ. They didn't have an interlude in the middle of the thing. But I am old enough. I mean, you're like 10 years younger than me, so you probably remember. I do. I remember being shown to my seat by going with my parents and people walking down the seat with a torch to show you to your seat, and someone walking around with the popcorn and all the ice cream and I do remember that, man. A different era. Did you say you have the new Norn model? I don't have the new Norn model, and if I ever get new models from Games Workshop, I can't reveal them until embargo dates. So you're 28. You're not 28, Monkey. You're like 41 something, but you don't look a day over 50, so you're doing really well. I mean, asking me, did you say I have the new norm? No, I didn't. But if I did have the new norm model and the embargo date hasn't gone, I couldn't show you it. But it's big, right? The picture they showed, it's like next to a Wraith Knight. It's like Wraith Knight sizes. So yeah, you know, why didn't they release a barbed Haradul or scythed Haradul or a version of the barbed Haradul or scythed Haradul? That would have knocked it out of the park, and they would have just called them something else instead of barbed Haradul, scythed Haradul. Call it a Leviathan Haradul or a Norn Haradul, and it was a version of that, and they would have just made bank. An idea to deal with firstborn Marines going to Legends, a narrative campaign, the end of the 13th. 13th are beset on all sides. Eventually they're so depleted they need Primaris recruits. The 13th do have Primaris recruits. They're called the Second Company. We have Reaper Company. We have Reaper Company, Nephilim Company, the Second Company. The Second Company of the 13th are Primaris recruits. 10th Ed Crash Test Marines. You remember the Crash Test Marines? Man, the Crash Test Marines back in the day, yo. That was me at the start, 7th Ed, figuring out different ways to make content, which was different from other people, and trying to, yeah, man, that's a blast from the past. Is it really a punch in the gut for GW to give firstborn rules and then a month later to yank those away into Legends? I don't think so, because I don't think so. Bear in mind that I've got a lot of firstborn Marines next door, because you can still play them. I'm still playing them and will continue to play them all the way through. And I am old enough to remember the first time they scaled up the whole of the Space Marine range. This is the second time they've scaled up the whole of the Space Marine range. It's the second time they've scaled up the whole of 40k. Yeah, I remember when all the lead stuff went to plastic and everything grew. I remember when do you remember Mark II Land Raiders and Rhinos? The Rhinos were Monkey's in the chat. He still plays with the old school Rhinos and the old school Land Raiders, and he's still got a chunk of old metal Space Wolves in his Space Wolf collection. And it's already scaled up once, and now it's scaled up again. And now his Space Wolves are going to look tiny towards all the... It's what they do, right? I mean, this phone will be obsolete in a year's time or 5 years' time. All the kit that I'm working on, it will be... It's you got to do that. It's, it's business. They want to sell you the next thing. And if you want to collect the firstborn stuff as a collector, you can keep collecting it. And if you want to play with it in Legends, you can keep playing it in Legends for now. And I think we all knew it was coming once they started releasing the Primaris range. It's business. It's this hobby. They're going to upscale it all again. If you're around in 15 years' time, all the Space Marines will start changing again. Dear. You learned a lot from the Crash Test Marines. Did you really? Nice. When I started, I only had metal stuff. I tried Warhammer Fantasy and was like, what's this plastic orcs? Yeah, man. Yeah. When I started, I only had metal stuff. And then do you remember in 1986 then, Jasper X, when they released Rogue Trader and we had the plastic Space Marines in the starter kit? The release of Rogue Trader. There was plastic miniatures for the very first time, and that was the Space Marine model. And everyone's like, I'm not buying this. All my mates were. Mind you, I was only like 12, 13. Was it 86? 13. I'm not buying any of this. Yeah, the first plastic Space Marines I got were the ones that were given away for free at my local gaming store in the launch edition of Rogue Trader. Here, have some free plastic crack. You need this to play this game. And... yeah, you kept coming back for more. The old Land Raider was called the Meatball because of its shape. Yeah, man. The old Land Raider is so cool. You started in 1991. Nice. 1991 is second edition. Yeah. Anyway, I've been banging on for how long now? Nearly an hour and a half. So I'll start to wrap it up. If there's any final questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Thank you for people who've donated this evening, and for my 3 new members, if you could thumb up and like the stream and all that sort of stuff, I would very much appreciate it. But yeah, always good to touch base and chat with you guys. I look forward to seeing all the people who are coming to the March of Winters event on the 1st of October. And I look forward to seeing Monkey and Stylus and perhaps Galleon and Sultan here on Saturday to film our 4-way. Always love a good 4-way. I never made a land speeder out of a bar of deodorant from White Dwarf. I tried to make it. Bear in mind that I was a teenager. I tried to make that land speeder out of a bar of deodorant. It never looked like what it looked like in that White Dwarf article, but man, yeah, I tried. It's going to be sweaty, Monkey, I know. 5 of us in that room together. I think she's cooking as well. I think we're getting pulled pork that day. She said, what do you want? I went, pulled pork tacos. So I think we're getting pulled pork tacos. Do you really think that Oath of Moment should be tuned down? I remember on a live stream before 10th edition dropped saying, Oath of Moment's really broken. And people shouting at me saying, no, it's not really broken. And here we are into 10th edition thinking, yeah, it's really broken. Do I think it should be turned down? No, because it's here to stay now. So other factions need something around. Oath of Moment means you can point at a unit and wipe it out. Whatever that unit is. If it's a knight, you can kill it. If it's a land raider, you can... Whatever unit you want to absolutely remove, Oath of Moment, if you're doing it right, 9 times out of 10, or 75% of the time, you can remove an entire unit with relative ease. And that... Do I think it should be toned down? I think the fate dice for the Eldar was a mistake. I think Oath of Moment was a mistake. I think giving knights reroll all hit rolls of 1 and reroll all win rolls of 1 was a mistake. Unfortunately, they've tweaked that. There are a couple of obvious... Yeah, I mean... It's Guide and Doom that the Eldar had on steroids. I don't know how they get around it. They could get around it by releasing a data sheet saying 2 armies or 3 of that. They could get around it some way, but the thing is, I have a general dislike whenever they fix any rules with a data sheet, with a balanced data sheet. I think that they should fix as much of the discrepancies as possible with points. Put some points up here, put some points down there. I think they should balance as much as possible, wherever possible, with points. Because it's easy to point new people. Here's the new points. It's on the Warhammer website. Go check it out. Every 6 months it updates. Points. And they look at the points and off they go. As soon as you've got sheets and sheets and sheets of here's the points, and you also need to go to that page and this rule changed. And then 6 months later, that rule that changed might change back again or change again. Every time they release rules which overrule the rules that little Timmy is opening in his book, or people are seeing in the battle reports on the internet, like they're reading in their book and they're reading in their codexes and they're watching battle reports or they're watching their friend. Whenever the game that they're watching or trying to learn doesn't match the game that people are trying to learn with their books, we lose people from the hobby. And it's bad for the hobby. So correcting rules with more rules. Adding rules on top of your rules is not the way to go to fix broken shit, in my humble opinion. Playing around with points is the way to go. So Oath of Moment, I do feel it is an overpowering rule. I think it's a bit broken, but I think it's here to stay and we live with it through this edition. And I don't want to see them overcorrect it. Yeah. Do you think GW will play Centurions in Legends? Yes. Yes. I think all of the, again, as I said, so all of the old sculpts will be moving to Legends. That's a guess. I don't know anything, but yes. They've upscaled their entire range before. They're in the process of upscaling their entire range again. There are some units that are moving that are being upscaled, like Sternguard. Like we had the old Sternguard sculpts, now we have the new Sternguard sculpts. So there'll be some of those units that they'll be keeping. So I expect to see Vanguard being kept. I expect to see some of the firstborn sculpts getting new sculpts, which will keep them coming and keep them flowing through. But yeah, the Space Marine range clearly is getting redone, and the Tyranid range, and they're clearly in the process of going through all their ranges and changing all the sculpts and up. This is where we are now. So yeah, whether Centurions last and get resculpted and put into the new edition like Sternguard are, I don't think they will, because they look derpy as hell. They don't make any narrative or lore sense. Space Marines inside of suits just doesn't. Why not just, instead of put a Space Marine in a suit and plug him into a bigger suit, why don't just plug that Space Marine into a bigger suit? Why does he have to go into a suit? And it doesn't make any sense. And they look derpy. It just, yeah. So Centurions might be biting the bullet. But yeah, it's all changing. It's all changing. Just like all the Primarchs are going to be coming back. Too many people at GW with ideas when it comes to new rules. The thing is, rules writers, the problem that you have with rules writers is they love writing rules. More rules, more rules, more rules. And yeah, because they get paid to write rules, right? So sometimes I wish rules writers would write less rules. What cheap units can now be filled with Marines? No scouts, tactical squads. Well, there are scouts, there are tactical squads. They all still exist. They are all still sold by Games Workshop at this time. They are moving to Legends. And then in the future, you're going to have intercessors, infiltrators to the... again, a big guess. Scouts are going to be coming. New plastic scout kits. The old ones, again, look derpy. So I think we're going to get Primesified scouts, and they will be coming along a way. In the World of Chaos, rules stand tall. Yeah. My poor Vanguard vets took a big hit in this edition. Yep, I think we're going to get new Vanguard vets. I think if the Sternguard got a new kit, I think the Vanguard are going to get a new kit. Welcome, Captain Nizzle, to the 13th Tier 3. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Problem with rules writers is they don't speak to one another, so rules are widely unbalanced. No, I don't think that's the case. I think the rules writers speak to each other all the time. I don't think, yeah, that's not the problem. There are other problems. Hopefully the Tyranids don't get big nerfs after the new stuff, like the Normal Emissary has been out for a while. Yeah, Pierce Bronson, Codex Creep is a thing. Codex Creep has always been a thing. Codex Creep will be a thing. They won't get a big nerf. They'll slowly drip, drip, drip as the edition goes on. So, anyway, I think I'll wrap it up there. It's been fun. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chatting. Thank you for all the donations and the new members and things. If you're watching this video after it comes out, then thank you for watching it after it comes out as well. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for the thumbs ups and the likes and things like that. And whatever YouTube channel you watch, be it mine or someone else, be it on architecture, be it on classical pianists, be it on science or thing, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe wherever you can. It's pay the YouTube algorithm. Feed the YouTube algorithm. Support your favorite YouTubers by sharing, like, and subscribing wherever possible, because that's what the machine spirit demands. And that's what keeps us all going. So thank you so much for stopping by, and enjoy the hobby, enjoy each other, be kind, enjoy each other, be kind, be gentle, be nice to each other, help your opponents play their game and play their army as well as they can be, and ask them to help you play your army as well as you can, and help remind you rules, help them remind rules, and everyone help each other as much as possible to make this hobby as fair and balanced and fun as possible. And big hugs all round, and yeah, happy wargaming.